Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again, and this is a build I'm pretty excited for. It is Crackling Lance Elementalist with an Impulsor, with Storm's Gift, basically just stacking cast speed, running some golems, and then trying out the buffed Crackling Lance, which I was a fan of already. At roughly the start of last league, it wasn't super strong, but you could make it pretty fun. And I know lots of people tried to make it kind of like starter-based characters and shit, and it wasn't very fun or good, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I think it does take a little bit of work and sort of fine-tuning until it feels properly good, and I'm definitely at that point on this character, and I am loving the absolute balls off of this thing. It is maybe too early to say, but I kind of have already said it and want to say it. Build of the league. This shit feels so good. Crackling Lance is a very good combination of a clear skill and a single target skill, and it feels like it was made just right at this point, where you have a good opportunity to just do your clear as long as you combine it with something like an impulsor, and I'm also using Storm's Gift gloves to make it better. And then you can stand still and turn into a bit of a turret, bit of a railgun, and have proper single target as well. I think it's just a good example of a skill at this point, but it does take a little bit of investment. Once it gets there, then you've got yourself everything you'll ever need in a skill. The investment I'm talking about is just a bit of cast speed. Like, it's not necessarily a lot of money or great gear or some shit. It's just building what it actually wants, and that is cast speed. So that you're not really ever locked down for too long when charging up your intensifiers, and also so you can quickly, at a moment's notice, choose to start doing your single target damage with your intensify stacks. If it's a pretty weak cast speed, you might be locked down for a bit too long, you might not be able to turn into a single target laser very quickly, and you might not have that on-demand damage that you need right when you need it. At this point, I have something like, I don't know, 500% cast speed multiplier, because I have just gone out of my way to get a decent bit of cast speed everywhere I can. And then Elementalist itself with 8 golems is extremely strong for stacking cast speed, because your lightning golems buff keeps getting bigger and bigger. There was a new MTX that came out with Crackling Lance, that's why it's red at the moment. There's big sort of blue bloofs from Impulsor, but that is combined with Storm's Gift gloves. Without the gloves, Impulsor is fine, it's still pretty good, but it doesn't come close to the amount of clear you're going to get by using the Prolif gloves. And then ultimately you can just use a nice thick explosion chest if you'd rather. I don't think the explosions are going to be quite as nice as these, since we are scaling lightning and as such getting much thicker explosion percentages coming from the Impulsor. It's a pretty overlooked chest at this point, pretty weak for what it can give compared to a harvest chest, but I think in a build like this it goes down just right, and then you can scale some shock effect and ultimately get a bunch of opportunity to actually shock really hard on bigger targets as well. This was just a map I popped in that I think was like tier 8 or something, double beyond, monster damage, some other damage, and then hit a delirium, and it was pretty smooth and comfortable still. Impulsor putting in huge work, and then the single target of the build, even at these humble stages, is something like 5 or 6 million, and I can really take this one to another level through a bunch of harvest crafting, and I will show you that on the gear quite soon. But this is a type of build that will benefit largely from playing it more and more, getting the last few passive points, fine-tuning everything about the gear, and Harvest can really help you do that. So I think it's going to be an absolute winner. It's going to be a bit annoying standing still in the end game for a single target, but we fix that by destroying everything instantly. I think that's going to be the plan for that. Maybe it's still going to suck for some content, but who knows. I think if we get high enough damage, then it really won't matter against anything, and we'll have to wait and see if it takes on all endgame. But even before that, mapping with this thing is just an absolute dream. I'm loving it, and That's what Path of Exile is all about as far as I'm concerned. I got told all day, every day, Crackling Lance is shit. I tried Crackling Lance, it wasn't good. Bad starter, ran out of damage, ran out of whatever the fuck. And I finally go around trying it myself, and I'm just like, wow. Can't believe I didn't do this for the entire league so far. It's been incredible. So in any case, let me rip into how I've built this character so far. He really isn't anywhere near complete yet. We'll get much more life and all that, but yeah, let's have a look at him. And just real quick, yep, haircut. There it is. Cool, got it out of the way. But here is our character. It is level 84 called Mathel. Yep, so cool. Couple of a combination of emotes from our Twitch chat, which you might want to see, you might not want to see, who knows. Level 84, Elementalist. So the point for Elementalist was trying to get a lot of cast speed through the Golem passives, and then as well as that, I really wanted to play around with Heart of Destruction and Mastermind of Discord, but it's mostly Heart of Destruction, so it was the old Pendulum that got reworked, and I think this thing is just beautiful these days. It is basically the perfect type of passive for just overall gameplay. It gives you a shit ton of area almost always when you need it, which is just map clearing and playing the game, and then a big single target boost when you need it most against unique bosses, big thick enemies. So I just love this thing. I only just picked it up on my character because I didn't do Uberlab until just now. And then you got a whole bunch of damage coming in from Mastermind to Discord, since we will be using exposure coming from this thing here, Corrosive Elements, so lightning skills applying lightning exposure, and then it makes it a lot stronger. The golem nodes, however, with 8 golems, a whole bunch of buff effect, a whole bunch of increased damage. That's how we're scaling most of our damage, and then as well as that, golems, you know, have lots of utility of their own to help you sort of get tankier, thicker. So a lot of regen from your stone golem, a lot of damage reduction from your Chaos Golem, and then, yeah, damage, crit, and of course, cast speed, which is a pretty important thing. So just by default right now, it's 485 cast speed modifier. I'm still using very suboptimal links at the moment, but they were just good for leveling. So we've got Phantasmal Crackling Lance, which is 10 cast speed from equality, using Crit Strikes, which is suboptimal, but it gets us to our like crit cap pretty quickly through leveling, and I'll definitely get rid of it sometime soon. Faster casting, also not a very optimal link, especially once you get more and more cast speed. It's not a very good link right now at all, but we'll get rid of it soon. It's very nice just for a bunch of cast speed early on too. Phantasmal Intensify, which I don't know if that's worth it. I just picked it up because it's a bit different. Reduce frequency of losing your intensity while moving. Divergent Spell Echo, which actually seemed pretty insane. I hadn't seen it up until now. It wasn't very expensive, so I'm not sure if people are using many of these, but supported skills deal less damage. So both your hit and second hit are going to deal less damage, but then the final repeat, aka the second hit, is going to deal 60% more damage. In total, I think it's supposed to be something like 8% more damage than a regular spell echo to the total of your skill, but the 60% more I think is really cool because it gives you the opportunity for much bigger shocks in these, much bigger hits which generate bigger shocks in these pure lightning builds. So I don't know, I thought that was a really cool little quality, and pretty happy with that find. And then a level 5 Awaken Out of Lightning, only just chucked this in pretty recently, and then things obviously get quite a lot better after that. So we're using an Impulsor, pretty basic chest, but nice explode. 5% of life as lightning, which can be scaled with percent damage, lightning damage, LE damage, and we do that with a lot of percent damage from the golems, and then a bunch of lightning damage from elsewhere as well, and we combine it with the Storm's Gift gloves, which is enemies you kill are shocked, shocks you inflict spread to other enemies within a radius of 15. So that's what makes the entire sort of pack explode instantly. Without these, you are still getting decent pops and it is still pretty solid, but these are the ones that really amp up your clear speed. And I'll probably have a second glove just sitting around here once I finish this character's crafting. for single target. So I'll just chuck in my shield charge setup and swap it in and out whenever I need pure single target, because on gloves I can get a shitload of extra cast speed and some defense like life and that sort of thing. So it's probably going to be worth doing for single target, since these gloves ultimately are really just a wasted slot, except for the prolif. We then have, I should probably look into the passive tree first. So it is an elementalist, it is a witch start. We go through the cast speed, get the golem nodes up here, a little bit of cast speed here, down here, just like some life and shit. Bit of intensity, so another max stack of intensity, which is a huge multiplier for our skill, and then some dual sockets, some crit. We currently have one cluster. The important thing on this cluster is corrosive elements, but you can get corrosive elements on a megalomaniac. It's pretty cheap, and you can get some pretty damn good ones. I didn't want to do that because, you know, it might be hard to exactly replicate. Otherwise, I just bought this thing, and the only real important thing is corrosive elements. The crit knockback, it's kind of cool. Didn't really need it, but sure. And the leech, it's decent as well. Not sure if we need it, but I do have that as an option now. And then from the cluster jewel, I've got Overshock. The important thing from my cluster, medium clusters, is going to be Overshock for the extra potential for bigger shocks, and then either Storm, which is a bit of crit and a bit of shock effect scaling as well. I'm going to try and get small life jewels that have 2% regen while stationary, because that's what I really want to be doing, being stationary. And I'll get another one of these possibly that does something else, maybe a bit of crit, maybe the chill node that chills things always. But pretty flexible mediums, can just do a megalomaniac, can get things like primordial bond, which is really strong. In our current stage, it's 80% increased damage, and then gives golems a bit of tankiness too. But yeah, I think megalomaniacs can be very nice for this build. And then yeah, first 2 points went here, second 2 there, then here, then here. And we currently have 8 golems because I am using primordial chain. It's not necessarily strictly correct, but it does give us a whole bunch of extra cast speed, regen, damage, whereas you can just get an amulet with actual cast speed, crit multi, a bunch of you know, +1 lightning. You can get a pretty thick amulet that'll probably do more than this, but this is an easy out for a bunch of that scaling. And then we've also got an anima stone over here. I did pick up a Watcher's Eye that does lightning penetration for Wrath, a little bit of extra regen from Vitality. It was cheap enough that I just went for both at once, but the 1% regen from Vitality is basically meaningless, so you know, don't cry about not getting one of those. And then you can make plenty of good harvest jewels. This is just currently an okay one, and then this one is fairly finely tuned, but it needs a bit of a divine because it's technically just a 3 prop. So yeah, that's the jewels and the passives and all that. As far as gear is concerned, other than that, pick up a Shaper Stygian, or I picked one up, don't know if you have to, just for a bit of extra cast speed. You can like harvest craft, you know, cast speed on this basically every single time, and then all we did was grab life as a roll. Kept going till something like that happened. It should be very easy to get extremely thick one of these, but this one's good enough, and I'll probably just leave it for some resists. Reusing my elusive boots from a previous character, Tailwind could go very nicely as well, of course. But boots are pretty flexible, I'd say. 1 assassin mark ring, currently just using it for a bunch of dexterity and a little bit of cast speed. This is a placeholder ring, which I'll probably upgrade for a bit of life, cast speed, maybe some damage, who knows. Grabbed a buff effect, lightning golem helmet chart, can get a crackling lance helmet chart, can buff any one of your other golems if you want. And then it's a crusader base, just trying to get -9 lightning res. Currently a piece of shit of a helm, gonna try and harvest it to get, you know, better prefixes, bit better life, that sort of thing. This is a wand I picked up for like 50C. What you're mostly looking for is a combination of cast speed and +1 lightning, and in this case also had T1 lightning spells. We've got flaring on there, which we don't want, but we can remove fizz. We can then add on lightning, we can add on spell damage, some shit like that. We've also got cold damage on there. We can remove cold as well, and then Aug crit, which will give us either spell crit or crit multi. So Ones are pretty easy to customize through some nice fat harvest crafting, but in general, you can start with many different things. I've got like two or three of these bases now as well, that if I really wanted to go huge on, I could. It's these +1 all skill fractures. So sometimes you come across in Harvest a fracture prefix from 3 random prefixes and try and get the +1 all with, 3 prefixes and then gamble, and happened for me twice now. They are pretty expensive, but I'm not yet utilizing them, just there for the money. And as well as that, shields. You can get +1 fracture on lightning skills, and then easy to customize with some harvest around that, or some etheric fossils, chaos spam, some org regals, all that sort of shit. So we can start with that, or we can even start with another fracture, which is this one here. 99% lightning damage. It's a much rarer and harder to get roll. So ideally you are starting with this instead of this, because then getting the +1 lightning on, you can guarantee it through various forms of harvest, or you can just keep spamming lightning hits or metallic fossils until some good shit happens. And then we can attach cast speed, life, we can attach maybe some crit if we want. We do currently have some here. And then the important thing for me is getting the double damage focus on, because this plus combined with this, you can end up having 30% at the press of a focus button. So you get the focus button as soon as you craft something with focus on it, and then 30% chance to deal double damage, huge extra shocks, and should be very good for our single target damage. Likewise, when I craft some gloves, I'll have an extra 36% cast speed while focused glove, and that will give us even bigger damage. So that's the that's the gear for the current character. That's pretty much all there is to it. We do have Righteous Fire that we can press with Vile RF, Flame Dash, Wrath, Vitality, Enlighten, Herald of Thunder, Onslaught, Orb of Storms, and Arcane Surge over here. Got our shield charge with Stone Golem, and then all of our other golems chilling over here. Not sure what else there is to say at the moment. If you want to know the MTX setup, it's demonic for the most part. It's Eerie Hat from a million years ago, demonic shield, Ringmaster weapon, and big fat apocalypse wings. I think that's about all there is at the moment. I will be hitting about 5,500 life, I think, in the long term, which with all of our defenses and huge damage should be pretty damn good. Yet to die. We'll try and keep it deathless, but the way I play the game on softcore definitely won't last for long, I don't think. I think my last socket is going to be for a Sigil of Power, because we do chunk through mana pretty quickly, and that should give me a big single target boost. And we do fix mana with an Eternal Mana Flask that is enduring. So as you can see, 84 mana, pretty easy to run out of mana instantly, but with the Mana Flask up, it just keeps on refilling. And that's what the laser looks like when at its full. So full laser looks something like that. As soon as you start moving around, you lose stacks of intensity, and then you can reapply your other thing. So my playstyle is basically stutter stepping a lot to get your thicker laser going, or your big crackling. You can get the angle enchant, which is pretty damn nice. It damn near doubles your crackling angle, and it would be very good for clear, but I didn't think it was necessary, so I didn't do it. I think that's about all for the character for now. Hopefully I've got some real positive things to show you for endgame. I think I will, so I'm looking hopeful for it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.